The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.
What time is it?
I am the face that runs the place.
You need Roman to be out of the main title picture for a little while. You give him a break. This is the only way you're possibly going to get the crowd to do anything but boo him, is give him a break.
I'm the greatest wrestler in the world.
It was exciting to see because it kind of reminded me of Reading Rainbow a little bit.
All they needed was LeVar Burton to come in there.
This would have definitely got a 5-star pay-per-view for me.
Show of the year.
Yeah, show of the year.
Noam, just moments ago you made your WWE debut. How cool was it to be able to do that in your hometown of Glasgow?
Listen, to debut for WWE in any circumstance is overwhelming, but the fact I got to do it in my home country and debut on Monday Night Raw, for WWE to give me that moment, for me to have that moment with the Scottish audience, that's exactly how I want to get stuff going here in WWE. And this is just a tailgate for the things to come in the future.
Ladies and gentlemen, wrestling to the mat.
And your hosts, Gary Vaughn, Sean Garmer, and Paul Leeser.
Welcome, everyone, to Wrestling to the Max, episode 220, part 1. And tonight we are going to get into some interesting news topics like Hulk Hogan returning to the WWE. Could it be a possibility in the near future? Plus, we're going to talk about Flow Sports. They're growing. Yeah, they've added some other wrestling promotions to their list of shows that they're going to have on their special streaming service. And we're also going to get into some talk about some other independent wrestlers as well as some new people possibly joining the NXT ranks. So lots of interesting news for you guys, plus some New Japan talk as well. You don't want to miss it. There's lots of great stuff. We're also going to get into this week's Ring of Honor TV. So, guys, we've got a full one for you and a lot of interesting stuff that I'm excited about talking about. But before we do that, just to let everybody know, if you want to go find us on the internet, the best place to do that is W2Mnet.com. That's right. This podcast is there with a lot of other ones. Plus, there's a whole wrestling section. As long as, you're willing to enjoy yourself, that's the best place to go. If you're willing to, not really care and you're bored, that's not the place to go because guess what? You're not going to get what you're looking for. This is entertaining, lots of great wrestling stuff that you're wanting to find. So be ready to be entertained once you go read that section. Plus, go check out the sports section as well. I've got football for you guys. It's football season right now. All you football fans, you want to see the best fantasy rankings. You want to go find out who the power rankings are ranked and why they're ranked that way. That's the best place to go do that as well. So video games as well. I mean, lots of cool video content. You guys know as big games are coming out really soon. I keep seeing that big commercial for what's that? Call of Duty, right? Call of Duty is a big one right now. So you're about to get some interesting stuff with Call of Duty and other great games. Go check it out. Great stuff. Also, podcast-wise, go to W2M Network. That's the place to go push that subscribe button. Get all of our shows. One easy click. It's easy for you. It's easy for us to get, a hold of you guys as well when we want to let you know when a new show is coming out. So good stuff for you guys. But saying all that, I was trying to distract everyone from politics because, of course, this is Tuesday and you guys are getting a chance to hear them all day long and all night. And I don't know when you're listening to the show, but if you're listening to it on Tuesday, you know that you are bored out of your mind with all this cracking over your head of the politics, numbers, stats, who's going to win, who's not, where is Carmen Sandiego, all these interesting little tidbits that you may not care about.
I love Carmen Sandiego came back. That'd be great.
It'd be beautiful. It'd be a lot more interesting than this whole process. So be
Plus
ready.
You get the Folgers guys singing the theme song again. Just awesome. I know they have a name. I just think of them as the guy that does the Folgers jingle for a while. That's bad.
Don't you love it? So, man. Well, just to be formal real quick, I'm your host, Gary Vaughn. Of course, with me, the guy that you just heard making a funny joke, Mr. Sean Garmer. And, of course, he's silent, but Mr. Paul Leeser as well here.
Yep, I'm here.
And now he's just being quiet, But, the way this whole thing has been working out, I'm just glad and thrilled, and I think a lot of other Americans, Paul, are happy this election's going to be done. I don't know about you, but I'm thrilled. I'm kind of tired of it. I know they're still talking about the candidates. Trust me, Saturday Night Live every week will show it, but at least we can get the election process over with.
For sure. At least, talking Saturday Night Live, they somehow, some way got Dave Chappelle to come back and do an episode. I'm so stoked for it. I don't even watch SNL. I will watch that one now.
I didn't know about that. I will too now. Is it Saturday? Is it this Saturday?
I think it's this Saturday.
Oh, man, I've got to find out. I will definitely watch it then. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, man, and Sean, I know that, you're getting a lot of this whole discussion of politics because Florida is a big state when it comes to these elections, so I'm sure they're cramming it down your throat every day.
My mailbox is full of the same, 7, 8 candidates having little flyers in there. I was like, where's the actual mail? This is just bullshit. I'm just throwing it away, right now. I'll just be so glad when Tuesday comes, the ballots close, and we just have to just watch this electoral thing unfold, and that's it. I don't have to, have my mailbox stuffed anymore. I don't have to hear people talk about, I voted for this person, I voted for that person. It's just okay, the armchair election people can just shut up now, and we can just deal with the fact that whoever's going to be president is going to be president, and whatever,
Exactly. And, I personally went and did early voting, which was amazing because I didn't have to wait in a big, long line. And I know, sadly, a lot of other people will be waiting in a big, long line. But just to make everybody feel better, I did vote for your candidate. So just feel great about that. I want you guys to know that. I'm on your side, everyone. So
at least he's consistent about it.
Exactly. So I stick with you guys. Don't worry. Always with you. But anyway.
And if you're not for the United States, then you just don't give a shit at this point.
Yeah. Vote for Chavez if you're not part of the U.S. So, even though he's dead.
Yeah.
But I don't think you can elect a dead person, Gary.
Well, I guarantee you a lot of dead people will be electing a president on Tuesday. So I know that's a shot, but it's true. But anyway, let's move on out of politics. The only thing we really care about when it comes to blue and red teams is Survivor Series and not, those other two political parties. So, let's go ahead and do some wrestling talk. Let's go ahead and talk some quick hits.
Let's do so. Whenever I can find the quick hits thing.
Ka-ching.
It's time for wrestling news. Quick hits.
All right. Well, hopefully it's not, that hard to find the ballot when you're doing that, so. But, saying that, guys, we've got a full list of things here to talk about really quickly. I know I kind of teased Survivor Series, but we're really not talking about Survivor Series right now. We'll be getting into more of that. And, of course, if you want to hear Survivor Series talk, go ahead and check out that Monday Night Raw review. We've talked plenty about it. But let's talk about the fact that
I don't think I ever want to hear about Survivor Series again after that.
I know. Trust me, people. It's not the show was fine, but the discussion we had to get into because of that show was a train wreck. The show is just not good. But let's talk about the fact that we have a couple of guys facing off against each other, and they were not getting elected for anything, but they were fist fighting and that apparently was Sin Cara and Chris Jericho backstage. Now, this is interesting because we've heard of Chris Jericho in some fights before, and we all know Sin Cara and Simon Gotch got into a fist fight where apparently Sin Cara won that one. It's rumored that Sin Cara beat Jericho as well. It's just a rumor. We don't know a whole lot about it. But, saying all that, this is interesting. Sin Cara apparently has a bad attitude, or people just like to fight him. I don't know. Which is it, Paul?
I don't know either. Like, I've read conflicting reports. What is, I think, known, at least across all of them, is that Sin Cara was making a bunch of annoying sounds. People asked him to stop, and he didn't. And so Jericho stepped up, being the locker room leader that he is, and told him to shut his mouth, you stupid idiot. And it went apparently south from there. And apparently Jericho bit his finger somehow in this tussle too. Like that was a big deal in a lot of them I read.
That's awesome. He bit his finger. And I love the fact when he fought Goldberg, he just apparently grabbed on and didn't let go of Goldberg. It wasn't really a fight. It was just more of a hang on and don't let go so you don't die. So Jericho fights dirty. Just let everybody know that if you plan on fist fighting him or doing anything like that, he's not a clean fighter. But Sean, this is ridiculous in a way.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do, man. You don't always get the opportunity to just slug the other person and walk away or whatever, Sometimes you gotta just either hang on for dear life or bite fingers or kick, and it's not, the fighting protocol, but it is what it is. If Sin Cara won, whatever, for whatever that's worth. But it's locker room stuff.
Yeah, it is, and it's not really going to matter at the end of the day. This is just interesting, and a lot of people have been talking about it online, and so I wanted to throw it out there for everybody to kind of, if they had not heard about it, to check out. Something else that could be happening is there's another legend in wrestling that could be joining the WWE locker room. When? We're not really sure, but we've been hearing rumblings that Hulk Hogan may once again be welcomed back into WWE. This is simply because he did win his case against Gawker, and, really the cases that are still going on in the courtroom with Hulk Hogan are probably not going to end anytime soon. He's been really, really wanting to be back into WWE, of course, and WWE, I'm sure, still, would like to have him around at some point. So, saying that, we're really, Sean, is this a good idea for WWE? How do you feel about it? Do you think he should be welcomed back?
Well, the rumor is WrestleMania 33 in Orlando. That makes a lot of sense. WWE did have all those years where they were in Orlando. That's where he signed with WCW, was when he was doing that movie in Orlando. This years with TNA, all that stuff, whether that was good or bad, but whatever. The thing is, WWE's not really focused on guys from the 80s right now. It's all about whatever's left of guys from the 90s right now is what they've focused on. And, WrestleMania, I guess it doesn't hurt. And we've heard wrestlers like Finn Balor talked about he wouldn't have a problem if he came back and whatnot. But, of course, he's not African American either. So that is something to, I think, take into account. It may not affect him the same way that, say, it affects, I think Mark Henry said it didn't bother him so much, but, say maybe they should ask Big E or Kofi or Mark Henry or someone, it's, what the hell is Hogan going to do? You can't, Hulk Hogan can no longer be an ambassador for you. He can't go tour places and do all that like he used to. Are you just going to really bring him back for the Rock moment, but it's Hulk Hogan, and waste 20 minutes of WrestleMania with that? Is that what you're going to do? We shouldn't really complain about WrestleMania anymore. This is what they do now, but it's just, I don't know. I just don't see the purpose that he brings, at least for WWE television.
I mean, I don't see much of a use for him anymore either. And honestly, it might just be, I mean, unless they want to try to transition him into a backstage role or something, that's the only thing I could think of. And I mean, Lord knows they don't need to do that. So I don't see the purpose other than it's Hulk Hogan. Why not have him on staff and have him for whenever you need him?
Yeah, I mean that's really what this is, and it's about really just having the name Hulk Hogan, about having this guy around that has been a big legend. But I mean, it's just outside of that. I mean, I really don't know what they're really wanting with him, especially with this bad representation. And like you said, Sean, you were mentioning about the African American community and how they would take him back in, and there will be people like Mark Henry, who simply just think that he was being dumb, really didn't mean a lot by it, and then there's going to be the other people out there who kind of think that he's a bigot and he's a guy that no longer needs to be a part of anything because of the things that he let come out of his mouth. So it's a slippery slope in a way, and I think WWE would take the opportunity to let him come back just to bring more money in. I'm sure people have not said you see that, have not ever seen Hulk Hogan in a live event, would like to go see him. And, of course, his merchandise still, does well, and not as well as, of course, it used to, but it still has a selling point. So, interesting, I don't know. It's
the thing is, too, like, it's just, what? Other than what his role, it's like there's gonna be people that are gonna be upset that he's just getting a paycheck at all from WWE. It's like, I know at some point you do kind of have to get over it. I mean, I guess you don't have to, but like the settlement's over. The guy got $31 million and he gets 40% of whatever if Gawker ever gets sold or whatever happens with Gawker or something to that effect. But it's just, you kind of know at some point he is going to be back. You just have to wonder, is this a good PR move for WWE at all to just, maybe you don't erase him from history. Maybe you do bring him back to do stuff on the network. I don't think he needs to have his own show unless he's going to be part of like Legends House 2 or something like that. But like, I don't need to see, like, the Hulk Hogan show on the network or whatever, but just, like, I don't know, have him do voiceovers, have him just do promos for the network. Like, we already hear him, I think he's in a commercial or something like that for it or whatnot, but it's just, I don't think that you need to have him on TV. He doesn't really serve a purpose, and you're giving him a paycheck for what? Like, I guess you want to put him on a Legends deal again. That's fine. I mean, I'll be honest, like him being in the video game, that's kind of weird. Of all the Legends you're not going to have Hulk Hogan when you have all these other ones. But just, yeah, it's not. I just don't think that you really want to be going to some of these towns and he gets booed out of the building. I don't know that would happen per se, but you already had a lot of times where he was around last time where he wasn't getting any kind of reaction that you would expect a Hulk Hogan to be getting, because this is you're getting further and further away from people who know who he is, as far as the wrestler goes. And what they're going to remember is perhaps that, oh, this is the guy that got in trouble for the, saying those things he shouldn't say. And they're not going to be happy about it.
Yeah, that's very true. And, we'll have to see what this does end up being about, if they do bring him, or if they just, maybe have considered it and it's not really anything set in, in stone or anything. But I just really am curious how they are going to handle it, and, if they really are going to do anything significant with him. There's a few things they could do, and of course, Sean, you already mentioned a few of them. I think one could be, of course, a show on the network that's maybe geared towards more adults, kind of like they have the Camp WWE. Maybe do something where, it's more for adults. And, he could even do, he used to do that show Hogan Knows Best. He could do Hogan Knows Sex.
Oh,
So
God.
they could do that, And
Only on the WWE network.
Yep.
Exactly.
You thought Camp WWE was bad. Just wait till we get this.
Just wait till he gets in there and says, "Let me show you how to do it, brother." And it gets on, and So.
Yep, that'll be the entire. Gary will definitely have Gary After Dark with that. That'll be what he reviews on that show.
It's gonna be so much fun. I cannot wait. But anyway, enough about me. Let's talk about the fact that we do have some other great news coming out of the world of wrestling. Flow Sports is adding 2 more promotions to their docket of shows that they will be having on their streaming service. One of those is Beyond Wrestling, and the other PWX. What do you think about that, Paul?
So, Beyond Wrestling is one of those that has their own streaming service. They run it through YouTube like Stardom used to. However, theirs is only going to be, Flow Sports will only be presenting their live shows. They won't have on-demand stuff like their network does. So, kind of a caveat there. I haven't heard if the same thing is true for PWX or not. I don't think they have a streaming service, though, or an on-demand service, I should say. So, probably going to be both for them. But it certainly is sort of a big deal. I mean, Beyond Wrestling is gaining a lot of traction up in the Northeast. It's done on Dijak's promotion, and they have some huge cards. American Rana is their biggest show of the year. It happened earlier this year, and it was a stellar show. I've seen several matches from them. I don't think I've seen the entire card yet, but man, those guys know how to put on a show. So this is a big deal. I mean, they say they have more. They're slowly announcing them as they're going. And if you follow the Flow Slam thing on Twitter, they get badgered like at least 20 times a day by people going, "Who else you signed? Who else you signed? Who else you signed?" So there's definitely a market out there for it, and there's definitely people still wanting to see what else they got.
I mean, I'm not going to pretend like I know anything at all about either one of these promotions. I know Beyond from their name. That's about it. And this is cool. Again, we talked about that Flow Slam needs to add more content, even if it is only showing their live stuff. That's something. So if you're a fan of the Beyond Wrestling and you're getting their live stuff as part of your paying $20 a month or paying $150 a year, then that's a plus. Hopefully you'll get, if more companies sign, you'll get more of their on-demand or their previous content along with that, but not everything's going to be that way. So, but still, something is something.
Some sad news to kind of bring to the fans in New Zealand. NXT has canceled their shows, their live events there. We're still trying to understand why, attendance could be a problem. There's some other things that could be a part of that. So just to let everybody know if you, know anyone who is going to that, or maybe, you heard about it and it didn't happen, you wonder why. We're still trying to figure that out as well. But that, of course, is the case. One thing, though, that NXT has coming, and that's possibly some good news, and this is not a for sure thing, but this is a heavy rumor that ACH is not signing with Ring of Honor because he'll be signing with NXT. So that could be a very interesting thing that could be taking place pretty soon here. How do you think this will work out, Paul? I mean, I know you followed ACH for quite a while. I mean, do you think he could fit in pretty well?
I mean, he's got to be earmarked for that cruiserweight division, and if they're getting their own show on the network, I don't know how much they're going to want to expand the cruiserweight roster, if they're even interested in expanding the cruiserweight roster more than what they already have. But certainly, he's a great signing. I mean, you watch him, especially since he's come back from his tour of Japan and Noah and New Japan now, and you watch him in the ring, and there's just such an extra degree of smoothness to his work. He's got the charisma already. We've seen that before in his feuds earlier in Ring of Honor, and of course around in Anarchy Championship Wrestling and other places here in Texas. But the dude's got it, and certainly a great signing for WWE and NXT if they want to go down that road.
I mean, ACH would be great to have him be in NXT, and don't know if or when he ever makes WWE main roster. But yeah, I think he could always use an extra cruiserweight or two, or make him part of a tag team or whatever. I mean, he could do so many things for NXT, and just for people to see a talent like ACH on there and get behind him and stuff like that. I mean, I think this is great for all of that. This is a total plus for the company, and glad that he's getting to be on that big stage.
Yeah, for sure. He's been a guy that a lot of people have enjoyed watching for quite a while. And so saying all that, this is something really enjoyable for NXT fans, and of course, really casual WB fans who've never seen him before will get a big treat. So this is a good thing. We all, know that there are several different indie stars now joined up with NXT, just like AC could possibly be. Tommy is one of those, and he has been, recently joined up with the Performance Center, doing a lot of things in there, getting him prepared to be a part of the NXT roster. There is that situation that has happened in Evolve where we got Drew Galloway not being a part of some of the shows. So to fill in, Tommy End will. This is kind of cool, Sean. I mean, for WWE to allow this to happen, where back in the day, WWE would never even consider things like this. But this is cool. The working relationship with Evolve is definitely cool.
Skype really hates you. Half of what you said was that nothing
okay,
for a while.
Quickly. Tommy End is now going to help with Evolve because Drew Galloway is not going to be on their shows. This is really cool.
Okay. I just wanted Gary to clear that up in case you guys didn't understand what he said.
No, I appreciate it.
So, I mean, this is cool. This is sort of the basis of why WWE and Evolve can work together. Is it's a, hey, you give us talent, we give you talent when you need it, or to work shows or whatnot. It is kind of weird that a TNA talent is not working the show, so WWE gives what is now one of their talents, formerly somebody that worked for Evolve, to be on their show. So that's kind of interesting. But I mean, this is what WWE is doing with the talent swap, and that's a good thing.
All right, Drew Galloway is still hurt, is why he's missing these shows. That's the reason why he won't be back on TNA for a while. Well, if TNA even has more shows next year, he'll be on those, but he won't be on TNA, I think, for the rest of the year either due to his neck injury. So there's all of that. Of course, Tommy End's matches, they won't be broadcast on the iPay-per-views. They're only dark matches for the live crowd, much like any other time WWE has sent anybody down there for a promo, like Sami Zayn or William Regal or American Alpha. I think they only did a meet and greet and a signing. Never actually got in the ring. So he's wrestling Tony Nese and Hot Sauce Tracy Williams. They're sure to be great matches. Him and Tony Nese should probably tear the house down, but that's certainly very cool for the guys who are going to be at those shows, and it makes up for at least Drew not being there, and even though he's going to do meet and greets and all that still.
Yeah, definitely. That's going to be really cool, and I'm glad that they are actually allowing him to do that. So once again, I mean, WWE's working relationship with Evolve is definitely in favor of both companies, if you ask me. Let's move on and talk about something else that's kind of interesting in the world of wrestling. Let's talk about the fact that Eva Marie has not been on WWE television because she's actually going to be in a movie, and that is cool, I guess. I mean, I'm not really a big, Eva Marie fan, don't really follow her, but it kind of got some explanation why she hasn't been on TV, Paul, and I mean, do you think this is helping her or hurting her? Do you think her being in a movie does her justice, maybe gets people behind her where they weren't so behind her as a wrestler?
I highly doubt this is going to help anybody get behind her. For me, I think I don't know if you want to let her sit away from the camera too long. She had a lot of heat before she got hurt, so I mean that's unfortunate, or not hurt, suspended for wellness policy, and. There's such a need for a big heel. to make Becky Lynch stand out some more. And Alexa Bliss has done great in her role, but I don't know if they're going to keep rolling with that post SmackDown later today or anything like that. So having her not around, I think, hurts a little bit and I can't believe I'm saying that. Not in a wrestling role, but certainly in a heat-getting mode.
Yeah, I mean, it's been weird to just, I know she was suspended, but then they cleared that up, and then she just never came back, and it was like, okay. They had so much going on with her, and there was, like, never anything said about, oh, well, did they send her back to make sure she could, to get more training and wrestle better, or is she in the doghouse, or whatever, and then we find out she's just doing movies, which, I mean, that's good for her. And but yeah, she's a great heel as far as getting heat, and that helps WWE. That helps draw attention for her. It helps draw attention for the women's division over there on SmackDown Live. So I don't. It is a bit of a loss, but they'll be okay. And don't know if WWE gets exposure out of this movie, whatever it is, but it's help for all, I guess.
Yeah, the way I just look at it is, we've already seen how being on Total Divas has given her some support in the, in the audience to an extent, because you still have those girls who come to shows and scream and, get excited because they know Eva Marie from that, and they enjoy her. And of course, I think in the movie industry, you also have the opportunity to portray a character that people like, and people see you in a different light and maybe kind of give you the benefit of the doubt. So I thought maybe people may go to the movies and say, this girl ain't so bad. I don't have to give her such a hard time. And then come WB time, they start saying, well, I think she's not as bad as I thought she was. Maybe I'll follow her. Maybe I'll like her more. Is that really going to happen? I don't know. That's all selective, but I'm just saying that could be a possibility. That's the only reason I said this might be in her favor, but who knows? I don't even know the movie, what she's playing. She could be playing Barney for all I know. But anyway. That's not what really matters here. Let's jump into some New Japan talk. Let's talk about the fact that there is a wrestler that is changing his name, and I could be destroying his name, Sean, but is it Tamakachi? Am I saying that right?
Kamaitachi.
Kamaitachi, okay. Give us the new name he's going to be using.
Why? Have I lost this already?
Is it Hiro?
It's Hiromu Takahashi.
Okay. Now, did they say why he's changing his name, or is it just for gimmick reasons?
It's part of his, he now has a character, a full-fledged character on. He's no longer a young lion. He's now very much like, when Watanabe came from ROH to back to New Japan, he was now evil. He is announcing that he has arrived as a full-fledged character, and
it's his birth name.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's his actual name. He's not Guy anymore. That's the gimmick that he got put with in CMLL. It worked out very well for him. And it's cool. He was the Time Bomb at Power Struggle. If you were into the New Japan stuff. He's challenging, he challenged Kushida for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title, which, spoilers there, as he beat Bushi. But I'm really looking forward to that match. I think it's going to be something really special.
Yeah, Kamaitachi he's had all those legendary matches with Dragon Lee, and now he gets to have one with Kushida here. This should be tremendous. But they also confirmed some matches there for Wrestle Kingdom 11 in a press conference. Of course, you're going to have the New Japan Rambo, where they just have the old legends and some just crazy stuff happening, current guys and all that don't make it on the card. Of course, we got Okada and Omega. They finally confirmed Tetsuya Naito and Hiroshi Tanahashi for the Intercontinental title, the IWGP Intercontinental title that we've been talking about for what seems like ages now. Young Bucks get to defend the junior tag titles against Roppongi Vice, who won the Super Junior tag tournament. Another spoiler, apologize. And of course, whoever wins the World Tag League, which announced all their participants, will take on the Guerrillas of Destiny at Wrestle Kingdom. And a certain former WWE superstar is going to be joining the ranks here, along with quite a few other names here. So let's just go through this list. In Block A, you have Hiroshi Tanahashi, Juice Robinson. That makes total sense. Juice has kind of been tagging with Tanahashi. Of course, he'll be missing Elgin, who is hurt, and that kind of stinks because Tanahashi and Elgin have become a great team for their long period. Tetsuya Naito is going to have a mystery partner, so we'll find out who his mystery partner is, I guess, on the first show, which is November 18th. War Machine from ROH. This is going to be some awesome stuff to see War Machine in here. Satoshi Kojima and Hiroshi Tenzan, so Tenkoji. This is where you get Guerrillas of Destiny as well. You get Brian Breaker and Leland Race, of course, the son of Harley Race from WLW. Manabu Nakanishi and Hanare, that's the New Zealand Young Lion. And Yujiro and Hangman Page, that's all Block A. Of course, the Bullet Club. And Block B, you get Kazuchika Okada and Yoshihashi, so they go back to doing their normal team that they've been doing for years. And of course, this means you get Hiroki Goto and Tomohiro Ishii. Oh my god, can't wait for this to be happening in this block. This block also has Katsuri Shibata and Yuji Nagata, your defending World Tag League champions in Tomoaki Honma and Togi Makabe of Great Bash Heel, Yoshitatsu, and Billy Gunn. Yes, I'm talking about the same Billy Gunn, Mr. Ass Billy Gunn. That is the guy that is going to be teaming with Yoshitatsu. You get
What
Kenny
the
Omega
hell?
and Chase. Yeah, Kenny Omega and Chase Owens, Sonata and Evil, of course, of Los Ingobernables and Bad Luck Fale, and Bone Soldier. Oh, for God's sakes! And they put him in the same block too. Ugh. I know, Gary, you were just elated at the fact that Billy Gunn is in this World Tag League.
It's going to be fun. I mean, you got to have him because he's so special, and he's the guy that's going to end up winning this whole thing, right? I mean, he's just that great. No, I don't know. I mean, I think it's kind of cool that he's a part of it. It's kind of odd to me. He's not the first person I would think to be headed over there to New Japan to do this, but that's cool. It's a cool addition.
So do we get New Age Outlaws cosplay now?
I hope so.
Or DX cosplay?
I imagine it could be a DX cosplay. I don't think Yoshitatsu is going to sail the boat on being Triple H. Why would you be Road Dogg when you could be Triple H? Come on now.
Yeah, there you go.
So is Billy Gunn going to be telling people to suck it and telling the Young Bucks they need to go somewhere? I mean, this is going to be interesting how they handle this. I should note that not all the shows are going to be live for the Tag League like the G1, so you'll get a lot of the on-demand later where it's just the matches. So just to let people know that. But what do you think of the field, Paul, and 16 teams here?
I mean, that's the usual, if I remember correctly. It's usually 8 a block. It was 7 in each last year. Anyways, a lot of these teams I like. I mean, Goto and Ishii at a Block B got to be the clear favorites to win there. Although Evil and Sonata is a great pairing. Shibata and Nagata, another great pairing. Okada and Yoshihashi, I mean, you know they ain't winning, but damn it all if they ain't going to be a great team either. I really like Block A a lot, though. War Machine, Tanahashi, and Juice Robinson, they're going to put on some great matches. Tenkoji, Guerrillas of Destiny. I'm really interested in who this mysterious partner for Naito is. The mystery oh, wow, I can't say it. The mystery member of LIJ, there you go, who has been touched on and seen once or twice, but has not been seen since in like a month. So we'll see who that turns out to be. But I really hope Goto and Ishii win this thing. I really do. It's a tag team I've been wanting to see for a while.
Me too. I really hope that it's them winning as well. There's some other good teams that'd be just fine if they won, but Goto and Ishii seem kind of made for this thing. Of course, we'll be doing a full preview with block predictions and everything, not only here, but on W2Net.com with our staff members. So when it's around the week of the Tag League, be sure to check in there for our thoughts and everything on that. And of course, we'll be trying to do what we did for the G1 with, thankfully, we'll have staff members where we don't have to all just the two of us write reviews or anything. It'll be around 5 or 6 people that get to kind of join in on the fun, and maybe we'll have some of them on the podcast too to talk about it. So, yeah.
There you go. So great content coming your way with that. I don't want to miss any of that. Now we are done and complete with Quick Hits, so we are going to head on over to some Ring of Honor discussion where we're going to talk this past week's Ring of Honor TV. We'll be doing that right after this. Take it away, Paul.
All right, this is, I think, the last taped episode from Lowell, Massachusetts, and then we'll start getting into the Baltimore stuff. But we go right to the ring. We open with Michael Elgin taking on Toru Yano, which commentary hypes up as sort of a rematch from G1, where Yano surprisingly defeated Elgin. They actually work a really good match here. It's not your typical Yano match, although you do get a lot of his typical shenanigans. I think they work all around all of that very well, and Elgin eventually gets the win with the Elgin bomb and all that good stuff. And I actually found myself really enjoying this match a lot. I think Yano, I often forget that he's a good wrestler whenever we skip over all the shenanigans.
I think he's hilarious. I mean, this guy brings all these different crazy shenanigans that Paul's talking about. I love the spot where he's trying to grab Michael Elgin's hair, and then Elgin turns around and goes, "I got no hair!"
And then he grabs the beard.
Yeah, he grabs a beard. Yeah, exactly. And then there's another spot on here, and I can't believe I'm forgetting it already. But there's another spot on this that I really enjoyed, and just I love it. Here it is, where he's going around the ring saying, "Scared." And they're like, "Oh no, he's scared. Leave him alone. He's scared." So I'm sorry. I just thought that was hilarious. So there's some great things he brings to the table here. But at the end of the day, it's just a match to kind of, get Michael Elgin to look good, and it's decent. And so out of this, what I got was entertainment and a pretty decent match. Nothing spectacular, but a pretty decent open to the show.
Yeah, I completely agree. If we're going to talk spots, I couldn't help but not give the spot where Elgin turns Yano into a seesaw and just punches him back and forth a couple times. I was dying.
It was great. I agree with you 100%.
We get after that we get a hype package for Dragon Lee where you get some of his highlights against his match with Kama Itachi at All-Star Extravaganza. He faces Bobby Fish next in a proving ground match. If the challenger beats the champion here, Bobby Fish, of course, is television champion, he will earn himself a future title match. And these guys work a really smart match. Bobby Fish is still selling the rib injuries from his attack by Hangman Page earlier, a couple episodes ago now. And they work that really well. Bobby Fish goes for some of his offense, and he grimaces, or he can't do moves because of it. And Dragon Lee looks like a house of fire in this. That frickin' Tope Suicida he does on the outside, literally Dragon Lee could have come out of a gun. I don't think he would have gone faster. Like, he could have flown out of the building going straight. I think it was incredible. And the more ROH and anybody else wants to use this guy, I am all for. And if somebody out there isn't trying to put together a Dragon Lee versus Phoenix match, I feel bad for him. Looking at you, AAW.
No, I agree. Dragon Lee is so impressive. He's the guy that I really enjoy watching. I haven't seen a lot of him. Here and there I've seen him, but just not a ton. And Bobby Fish is a great wrestler. This is all a story about Fish's injury, though. This is what this is about. It's showcasing that he's willing to fight a guy like Dragon Lee, a guy that is just overwhelmingly impressive, and still do it with injured ribs and knowing that there's a big possibility he's not going to win. And he takes the match in, and, of course, Dragon Lee takes advantage of those ribs. He really does, and he's not being nice about it. He's being sportsmanlike, but he's not, holding out on the kicks and, of course, not holding off on taking advantage of those injured ribs. So I appreciated that. It was all storytelling with that part of this process, and at the end of the day, you do have Dragon Lee winning for all the right reasons. And, of course, Bobby Fish celebrates with him and holds his arm up and says congratulations. So I think it's cool. Down the road, when, of course, if it is Bobby Fish who has that title or anyone else, it's going to be a great match when Dragon Lee does get an opportunity to, face off for that TV title.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I forgot to mention Bobby Fish gets a promo before the match where he talks to Hangman Page directly, who will challenge for that Ring of Honor television title next week on the TV show. So I really look forward to that. Matt Taven gets some promo time, however, after that match to say that time is up for the Bullet Club because the new kingdom is about to dawn upon us all. And before we get to that match, we get some highlights of how Super ACH Kushida and Jay White got to the finals by beating the Briscoes and Toru Yano at All-Star Extravaganza and the Cabinet might have been last week on Ring of Honor television. And then next week we get Team CMLL taking on the Addiction and Kama Itachi in the opening round. I'm assuming we can already guess where that one is going with Kama Itachi showing up in New Japan. But on to our main event where the Bullet Club contingent of Adam Cole and the Young Bucks wearing all the gold, take on the Kingdom. Matt Taven and his new partners, TK O'Ryan and Vinny Marcineglia, I think is how it's pronounced. I haven't seen them before. I don't think you really got enough of a picture to judge them from this match alone. But the Kingdom do, however, come out on top in sort of a shocking upset as they put, I think it was it was Matt Jackson away. Taven hits Climax, and then Vinny hits the a Senton Bomb, and Matt Taven gets the cover to send the Kingdom forward in the tournament.
Yes, and this was a match that, going through the entire thing, I wasn't sold that the Kingdom was going to win. I mean, they really were showcasing that they were, not a veteran team together. They were, of course, getting owned at times by the Bullet Club, and I get that, and it makes all the sense in the world because the Bullet Club has been so dominant, but it took them, making their own surprises, making their own way in this match to create a controversial way to end it, and, of course, getting themselves the victory. I mean, I'm completely happy with what happened here. I think it makes sense. There's no problem with it. I mean, I know the Bullet Club fans out there probably say, well, that's not the way it should be. But, for the Kingdom to get over, for anybody to take the Kingdom serious, this had to happen. Mm-hmm. So that's the way I look at this. I'm not taking anything too serious out of it. I'm not going to say, well, they really shouldn't have the Young Bucks lose if they're doing this, blah, blah, blah. No, I don't think so. I think at the end of the day, this needed to happen this way. And the Young Bucks and, of course, the Bullet Club in general would get theirs later.
Yeah, it's such an easy way to get heat on the Kingdom, too. Not cheating to beat the Bullet Club, who everybody loves in Ring of Honor. So, a smart booking move there, and that's all for Ring of Honor this week.
Yes, it is. And, of course, we want you guys to know that, of course, next week we'll have more Ring of Honor TV talk, of course, with that. And but besides that, we are done with the show tonight. We appreciate everybody who's come and checked us out, whether you found us on the W2M network, maybe you found us through a friend, or, of course, you saw us on W2Mnet.com. We have lots of other great shows for you guys to enjoy. This next Thursday live, we'll be doing a show. Of course, that'll be available Friday morning on the download for everyone. We'll be having part 2 of episode 220. And, of course, we'll be getting into some other great talk and discussions about wrestling news that'll be happening this week. Plus, all the great shows you'd like to talk about, like Lucha Underground, NXT, TNA Impact Wrestling. And, of course, that show will be crowning a Superstar of the Week. So, some great stuff coming your way on that show. Don't want you to miss that. Plus, don't forget, tomorrow, of course, that is actually technically today. I'm getting ahead of myself. SmackDown Live, election night. We will still be doing a show. Trust me. We're not taking the night off to go talk of politics. Nope. Heck no. We're talking wrestling. We'll be giving you the SmackDown Live review. You want to go see that show and go listen to everything that we have to offer on that. Hopefully it's a lot better show than that Raw review, because the Raw review was fun, but, Raw was not. So hopefully SmackDown Live does a better job. Saying all that, Sean, do you have any other things you want to kind of share to the people?
Yeah, go visit that W2Net.com, especially if you like video games. There's going to be a lot of game reviews this week, as that 2-week window for games that came out a few weeks ago where it's kind of hitting. So we'll have quite a few go up all in a row. Including a Dragon Ball Z Xenoverse 2, Battlefield 1 review as well, and a few others getting in there. Already got this Call of Duty Infinite Warfare that I got to send off to somebody for review, so lots of things happening on that front. And of course wrestling, that continues to do what it's going to do. Some great articles still in there that I need to edit. Including one, our good friend Tom writing one about how he went from tape trading to streaming and everything in between. It's a really interesting read that I got to finish going through. But yeah, that'll be up there. Of course, Total Bellas reviews up there. There was a great article that the same guy that does the Total Bellas reviews, Jeremy Lambert, wrote about Daniel Bryan and his depression, and how he also suffers from depression, and how he kind of understands Brian, and it's a great read as well. So guys, make sure you're going over there and checking out whether it's us writing, like Paul doing those ROH and Lucha Underground reviews, or just some of our other staff members writing. There's always good content there. Of course, Gary and I doing the college rankings and NFL rankings and all that stuff too, besides just the podcast. There's something for everyone there, and we continue to try to keep branching out as we possibly can. And of course, as far as the network goes, all the shows have been pretty consistent lately. So yeah, just keep checking out that network as well for the podcast.
All right, guys. Well, that pretty much wraps us up tonight. We hope you all have enjoyed the show, and of course, we'll catch you down the road. Until then, if you're not living life to the max,
not living life at all.
You know it.
Please.
Later.
The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.